It is 5 o'clock somewhere, and you've tuned in to Season 4, Episode 9 of BRC. For those of you who'd like to watch this episode, I highly recommend it. You can view Season 4 on our website, YouTube, Spotify, whiskynetwork.net, and Zencaster. I'm your host, Kerry Moynahan, and today's episode is coming to you straight from the heart of luxury whiskey culture at the Nth Universal Whiskey Experience 2025 in Las Vegas. This year's event brought together some of the finest minds and drams in the spirits world. I caught up with friends old and new, including Koray Ozemir of White & Mackay, who was introducing the U.S. debut of Fettercane's single malts. I also met with importer Nicholas Palazzi of PM Spirits, sharing a phenomenal 16-year Tamdhu. Chris Udi from Impex, offering a cherry blossom finished rice whiskey that you won't forget. Gareth Howells of Aberfeldy, dazzling us with a 25 and 26-year-old expression, and Hosea McLean from 375 Park Avenue Spirits, pouring an unforgettable 23-year-old Cuddy Stark. From historic distilleries to experimental cask finishes and collectible bottles, this episode is packed with a lot of flavor and expertise. So kick off your shoes, pour yourself a dram, and join me for this episode of Barrel Room Chronicles.
Get ready for smoke on your palate and on your plate at the Scotch Club's annual Peatin' Meetin'. This isn't just a whiskey tasting, it's a full-blown peat-powered experience. Sip legendary smoky Scotch from Islay and beyond. Then, dig into barbecue made with real peat fire. That's right, we're smoking the meat like we smoke the malt. Use code IDREAMOFPEAT and get 30% off your ticket today. Scotch, smoke, and slow-cooked perfection. Peatin' Meetin', where flavor goes up in flames.
Okay, so I am here at the Nth this year, 2025, in the Wynn, Las Vegas. And I'm here with my good friend, Croy, who I've known for several years now.
Yeah.
And I walked up and I saw he's got a whole new brand that he's working with, and I knew he was working with the Downlore, but now tell me, what is this that you have today?
So we just released Fettercane, and literally last Wednesday, so it's not been that much.
Wow.
Fettercane is, interestingly, a 200-year-old distillery that was never launched in the US.
Okay.
Yeah, same with the world. It used to be in the blends, it used to be in independent bottlers. But in 2018, we released it in Scotland and UK and Europe. But just last week, we decided to bring it to the US and started with a 24 and a 28-year-old.
Okay. Well, which one is this? 20. Oh,
so we'll start with a 24.
This is my age.
Yeah.
Can't you tell?
I thought younger, but...
Okay, you're right.
So we are...
Oh, then 24. I have to be able to drink it.
We started with 24, 28, and we also brought some rare whiskies, 40, 46, and 50. Some of the whiskey collectors here yesterday had the chance to test that.
He's got it right here. Hold on 1 second.
So this 24-year-old is entirely aged in American oak. It's one of its kind.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So we have a unique distillation. On our spirit stills, we have a copper ring on the top that cools the still by sprinkling water.
Oh, wow.
And we represent it by this ring.
Nice. Okay.
So it brings the temperature down 30 degrees really fast, increasing the reflux. So we attend those tropical fruits. And these lines on the bottle, the bosses, are actually the water flowing down the still.
That's great.
And we also have the national animal of Scotland on the logo, which is a unicorn. So that's Fettercaine in a nutshell.
Well, Solange va. Let me
Solange
see this bad boy. Oh, wow. That's great. It does have fruit on the nose.
It has fruit on the nose. This is 46.5% ABV. 28 years old, it's 42%.
It tastes a lot hotter than that.
Yeah.
But it's a good hot. It's like a spicy hot.
It's strong. It's fruity. A lot of papayas and mangoes there.
It's amazing. Okay, so what is the other bottle you have here?
So we have the 28 years old after this, again entirely aged in American oak. And this is not happening today, but this is our 50-year-old that we released in US.
Beautiful. That's gorgeous.
So.
Well, I'll come back by later to taste the 28-year-old. But thank you so much for sharing this with me.
Thanks for having me as your first one.
I didn't even know about it. And so when I saw you walk up with these weird-looking packages, I was like, what is that?
That's our new Vetterkern. So.
And say it one more time.
Vetterkern.
Vetterkern.
Yeah, Vetterkern.
Vetterkern.
Yeah.
No. Yes.
Vetterkern means, so Vetterkern is coming from Cairngorms mountain range.
Okay.
And it means the foot of the mountain hill.
Okay.
And also it's coming from a area what we call the Garden of Scotland.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, I am here with Nicholas at this beautiful table with rums and cognacs and one single malt. So I was going to talk to him real quick about this single malt, and then he can give me the background about all these other items that he has on here. So, Nicholas, please tell me, what is this that we're looking at? And I think this might be backwards. Is this backwards?
I mean, the front label is here, but it doesn't say anything. So
it's beautiful.
If you want to have the info,
information, gotcha. All right, so tell me, what is this? What is this that we're about to partake in?
Well, there's a company in France called La Maison du Whiskey. They're probably one of the main retailer, importer, and wholesaler in Europe. They have been wholesaling and importing Nika in Europe and Asia since for the past 20 years or so.
Okay.
So they have a huge access when it comes to whiskeys, and every year they do single cask releases.
That's fantastic. This is like a 16-year?
Yeah, that's a 16-year Tamdu. It's part of a last year releases.
It's a Tamdu?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Tamdu. No wonder. I was like, it smells vaguely familiar, and that's why. It's a Tamdu.
They have La Maison du Whiskey has an immense access to like really cool casks because of their power in Europe. And every year they do releases. This is the artist release, so they team up with a specific artist and then evolve single cask. This is the 13th release.
Okay. So tell me, how did you? Are you the owner of this business?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about your spirit's journey. How did you decide when you were a wee little lad, when you were a baby, did you think one day I'm going to import liquor?
No. I was a chemical engineer. I worked in France for a few years. I hated it. I moved to the US in 2004, worked as an engineer also, hated it, and decided to try and find something that I would be good at, I would enjoy. And so I like booze. And I started that business in 2011.
Nice. And how many years have you been coming into the end?
That's the third year right now.
Okay, great. So tell me, are you the one who selects each one that gets imported, or do they approach you and say, hey, I want you to bring in my stuff?
It's a little bit of both. Like when I got started, I was selecting everything. Now we made a name for ourselves in the industry, and we get to, say yes or no depending on the people who reach out.
Okay. And when you taste something and you say, oh, this is garbage, do you just kind of politely say sorry, no, or do you tell them, no, this is garbage?
So it depends on the relationship. I want to be mindful of people, and I don't want to hurt any feelings. Like people put a lot of soap and a lot of money and a lot of heart into products that are shit. So I don't want to be that guy.
Right.
At the same time, I politely decline. We say, all right, we're full right now. We don't have the mind space. We would maybe love to revisit, but let's talk in 6 years.
Okay. Well, what is there anything for the regular, ordinary consumer that you can offer them or suggest to them where they can find your products?
As far as retail, you mean?
Yeah.
The major ones from K&L in California to Astor Wine in New York. And every good independent retail that cares. That if you look at winesearcher.com and you look for us, you're going to find our products.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing this with me. It's absolutely delicious.
Very cool. Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Cheers. Okay, I am here with Chris Udy. Behind him is Sam, who we already got on the show last year, but I've been trying to get Chris forever because I've known Chris forever, but he's always like, no, do Sam. Anyway. So, I'm here with Impex, and today I'm going to try something I haven't tried yet.
This is the Sakura cask from Oishi Distillery. Oishi was founded back in 1872. It's in a village down in the south of Japan, in a village called Mitsukamimura.
Okay.
The population of the village is maybe 1,600 people.
Wow.
All of the grain is locally grown around in the prefecture of Kumamoto.
What kind of grain is it?
It's rice, 100% rice.
Yes, it's going to be
And
rice.
so,
Okay.
1/3 koji rice, 2/3 unmalted rice. And the Sakura trees that are used for the cask are are grown in the prefecture as well.
Wow.
So it's 6 to 7 years in sherry and brandy cask, and then the last 2 to 3 years in cherry blossom cask or sakura cask.
That's great.
So if you know what sakura mochi is, it's going to taste like sakura mochi. It has this nice elegance to it, and it's really its own thing. Nothing else tastes like it.
It's got a beautiful nose. Like I almost feel like I'm seeing like the cherry blossoms with when I smell this. There might not be any near there, but that's
If you ever make it to Honolulu, there's a restaurant there called Fett.
Yes.
They bought their own cask of this to do cocktails with. Like,
I wish you told me that before. I was just there. I wish you told me that before. Okay, well, all right. Let me taste it.
all right, so 6 generations of distillers.
Oh wow.
And it's just like, elegance.
That is elegance. And this is it is considered a whiskey or it's not because it's
It is?
It is.
No.
It's great.
Rice is. You can use rice to make whiskey in Japan as well. Like it's.
But in America, would that count?
Absolutely. Jim Beam made a bourbon that had rice in it. Buffalo Trace made a bourbon that had rice in it. You've got Ben whiskey out of Oregon that's made from rice.
That's really good. That's really good. Okay, so while I have you, I know that not only are you a bigwig here at Impex, but you also happen to have something to do with another distillery, say in Japan. Are we allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So with Oishi and Hakata, I produce those brands with the owners of the distilleries, and then I'm the head blender for Fukano whiskey as well.
Well, that is so cool. And how did that come about? Because I know that was relatively recent-ish, like since the pandemic, maybe.
When we started the project, we were looking at the barrels, and I asked Fukano-san what type of whiskey he would like to put out, and he said, if you were going to do it, how would you do it? And I said, if I would do it, I would do it this way. And that whiskey got top 20 whiskeys of the year in Whiskey Advocate.
Wow.
And then the next year, we did the same thing, and he goes, if you were going to do it, how would you do it? And I said, well, I would do it this way. And that whiskey got 96 points.
Wow.
In the Ultimate Spirits competition, and then I guess Forbes wrote about it. And so then Fukano-san just said, go do it. So that's how it happened. So
that's awesome.
It was a little bit difficult during COVID trying to get samples across so it could happen because I couldn't go over there. But it's fun, and I'm honored that he allows me to put casks together for him.
So how long have you been doing it now then?
10 years.
Wow, 10 years.
I think coming on. Well, the project started I think in 2014.
Okay.
And I think the first liquid made it to America in the January 2016.
Okay. And so how often do you go over there to do your blending?
2-3 times a year.
And for how long?
A couple of weeks at a time, because you have to detox a little bit and shift my palate from eating cheeseburgers to more healthy food and kind of clean it up a little bit. But also, like, I'll get samples brought over as well, so I can, because it takes more. I'll do a preliminary blend while I'm in Japan, and then I'll take cask samples and I'll take those blends, and then it takes weeks, right? It's not something you do overnight. You do it at nighttime. You try it in the morning. You try it after a bath. Like, you want to make sure it's consistently where it needs to be.
I was asking. It couldn't be just like a weekend. So, and when he asked you to do that originally, were you like, oh man, this is cool, it's fun? Or were you like, oh, fine? I mean,
no, I was super excited about it. I love whiskey. So I've always, I have an infinity bottle at home. I blend everything and anything I can blend, I'll blend it just for fun. Funnily enough, I'm terrible at cocktails, but when it comes to just like raw spirit, I'm okay with it. So like I blend scotches and I blend scotches with bourbons, and I'll blend bourbons with Calvados. Like, I'll go nuts just awesome. For fun. It doesn't always work, but I learn a lot.
Yeah, but it's the fun of being creative. Mm-hmm. You know? So tell me, right now, what's new with Impex, and where are you and Sam taking it, and then say the next year?
I think what's new with us is what's always the same. We stay the course. We grind it out, right? Like, we try to get as many people to try our wonderful whiskeys and mezcal and gin as we possibly can, and just raising awareness of all of these wonderful whiskeys to anyone that'll listen to us scream about it. That's what we do, and that is what's new. The only new thing is trying to find more innovative ways of bringing it to people. But the tried and true is there. Looks like they're starting.
I guess that's the end of this interview. Thank you, guys. We'll catch you soon.
Barrel Room Chronicles has just opened the doors to its brand new online whiskey shop, bringing stories behind the spirits straight to your glass. At the BRC Whiskey Shop, you're not just buying a bottle. You're sipping history from the hands of legends, like Rachel Berry of Glendronach, Benriach, and Glenglassaugh, Richard Patterson of the Delmore, the Teeling Brothers, reviving Irish whiskey in Dublin, and Bernard Walsh, the storyteller behind The Irishman and Writer's Tears. These aren't just spirits, they're stories waiting to be poured. BRC Whiskey Shop, the drams we talk about, now delivered.
So I am back here with Gareth. I had him last year to interview, not had him. I interviewed him, but I didn't hit record. So the best interview of the night didn't happen.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'm doing a repeat. I was so mad. I got to the hotel and I was like, are you kidding me? So I'm here again. We're going to talk about this again. And tonight he just gave me a little something that nobody else knows about. It's only for us special people.
And hopefully anyone hearing about it on this will find out after the fact, so I shouldn't be bothered for it too much.
All right, so Gareth, first of all, what are we drinking tonight?
Okay, this is something very special. This was released at the end of last year, actually December in New York. This was one of Stephanie McLeod's exceptional cask whiskies. In essence, a double cask. This is one of around about 260 bottles. Now, specifically, this is an Aberfeldy whiskey, aged for a minimum of 26 years, of course. But,
did you hear that? 26 years. 26. Okay.
Yeah, a quarter of a century. It's quite some time. But this one is specifically finished in Languedoc-Roussillon.
Say what now?
Languedoc-Roussillon, so red Bordeaux wine casks. Okay. So you have this incredibly complex whiskey. The other thing about this is also around about 52% and change ABV. So for us, this is the equivalent of a cask strength whiskey.
All right, I'm gonna taste it. The nose is amazing.
I can't wait to hear what you think about this whiskey. I always love hearing what other people think about whiskeys rather than me telling them.
All right, this is the best of the night so far. This is amazing. It's definitely got that kind of Speyside Scotch feel with the good water coming through, but it's got a little bite, which I like, but it's also smooth at the same time.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I mean, those lines from a flavor perspective with Highland and Speyside have always been somewhat blurred, but I think it really does. Aberfeldy, of course, is Highland whiskey based in Perthshire, but there's a huge amount of what could be considered that Speyside influence.
Right. Because, okay, to be fair, Speyside is in the Highlands, but Highlands isn't necessarily in the Speyside.
No, 100% true. It is a region within the region.
So when everyone said, like today on the plane, somebody said, so what's your favorite whiskey? And I was like, I can't answer that. And they said, well, what do you mean? I said, okay, well, what I can answer is my favorite Scotches are in the Speyside and North and Highlands area, but I can't pinpoint. Well, maybe now I can.
Well, I think we discussed this last time. Yeah. Stylistically, we like very similar whiskies.
Correct.
I mean, interestingly enough, the Aberfeldy distillery was actually designed by a gentleman called Charles Doig. Now, he was the foremost Victorian-era architect of distilleries. In fact, to the best of my knowledge, he still had a hand in the design of more distilleries, or building of more distilleries, than anyone who has come since.
That's cool.
But he originally applied his trade in what we would consider to be the Speyside region. Aberfeldy was the first distillery.
How far outside of the actual Speyside line is it, do you think?
So, I mean, basically, Aberfeldy is in a region called Perthshire. So it's known as being the gateway to the Highlands. So out of Glasgow or Edinburgh, you head north. You've got to go past Perth, unless you're hugging the coastal road. And then just northwest is a little village called Aberfeldy. But the Aberfeldy distillery was the first distillery outside of the Speyside region that Charles Doig actually came and built a distillery. So
that's awesome.
Stylistically, you can see there the similarities there, which is amazing.
It is amazing.
Sorry, I didn't mean to completely go off on a tangent then, but
it's good because, and as I'm staring at Highland single malt, I just, you know why I said Speyside, because I like it so much and it must be from that area. But again, I'm going to put a map up because you guys need to know what we're talking about. I'm not as stupid as I sound. I really not. But Speyside is in the Highlands, but it doesn't. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about more of this expression. So tell me, like, how did Stephanie come up with this? Like, what did she use? Like, when did, like, how did?
So with these releases, you'd like to think it's really complex, but I think it's slightly more simplistic. So Stephanie and her team, a huge part of the job is constantly monitoring the whiskey that we have in our aging warehouses. And every now and again, they will identify certain casks that have, well, contain within them whiskey that has the potential to be truly phenomenal. And it just happened that the whiskey within this bottling was identified, well, those two casks were identified as having that potential.
And it's only two casks.
And lo and behold, they did. And then with Stephanie's understanding of what it is to finish whiskey and the work she's done within finishing in our wine cask series, she was like, you know what? I have these incredible barrels that used to contain Languedoc-Roussillon, and I just have a feeling that this will work. And lo and behold, this is the whiskey that we have. So it's quite a treat. I'm really glad you came round, because this is one of the first opportunities I've had to share this and open this bottle with someone.
I'm trying to see if you guys can see it. I got to take a picture of that. All right. Oh, I'm going to hide that up here. We don't want anyone else to take it.
So have you got space for one more quick whiskey before you go?
Sure. And what's this one? Well, this is a 25-year.
So
1 year difference, but what's different about it is?
So this is quite exciting for us. So last year, Aberfeldy, we celebrated our 125th anniversary. We were founded in 1898. And to commemorate that momentous occasion, we released a limited edition, 25-year-old 125th anniversary edition. It proved to be so popular that Stephanie decided that she would commit to keeping a 25-year-old whiskey as part of our core offering.
What?
So at the end of last year, we introduced this 25-year-old whiskey to Aberfeldy's core lineup, meaning that we will always have our 12, our 16, our 21, and now a 25-year-old whiskey.
Thank you,
that's
Stephanie.
available.
Thank you. I'm going to say, I haven't tasted it yet, but on the nose, I actually get a little hint of caramel, which is different than what I got on the 26-year-old.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Ready?
Now, interestingly, this is finished as well, but it's for about 13 months in first fill Oloroso sherry.
Again. Oh, so good. And it's very creamy. It's very thick, very oily.
The finish is insane. I've always got this note of almost like wild strawberries with this whiskey in particular.
It's like I'm imagining someone dunking, instead of putting a strawberry on chocolate, I'm imagining putting them in a little bit of caramel.
Yeah.
And then on top of like vanilla ice cream.
And this very much fits in line with our commitment to only releasing aged whiskies with the appropriate age statement. At Aberfeldy with Stephanie, we don't release NAS or non-age statement whiskies. So to be able to release a 25-year-old mark as a continuous mark is something it's outside the norms and not something a lot of other people are doing.
How many bottles a year do they think they can produce at 25 years stock?
That is way above my pay grade. I couldn't possibly answer.
All right.
I guess it all depends on how much you guys buy. I mean, if it turns out to be really popular, we'll have to make some more.
What's the recommended retail price on this?
We should be looking about $5.50.
I'll have another, please. $5.50. Wow. Okay. And how much is that 26-year-old?
That's probably going to retail amazingly, probably about $750, $800.
I am the luckiest girl here tonight, guys. Like, this is definitely my favorite Highland General, not Speyside.
Well, I'm really glad to hear
but
that.
It was always one of my favorites anyway. But
yeah,
I mean, Stephanie never disappoints, I must say. Never.
No. In Stephanie we trust.
She would be here today, but that's
one day. She has historically been here, just not for a minute.
Yeah, not since I've been coming. Although I did meet her last year. I met her in LA last year.
Oh, okay.
So that's
nice. When we were on tour in the lead up to the US Open.
Yes.
Were you at the Women in Whiskey event?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And I was actually at that same venue night before last. And I was like, why do I feel like I know this place?
Where did we do that? It was Death and Company. That's where we did it.
It was called Employees Only.
Oh, EO, of course.
Yeah. So I walked in. I'm like, I've been here before. I'm like, oh, that's the room where I met Stephanie. Yeah, it was good. Good times.
Amazing. That was a lot of fun, that event. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing these wonderful drams with me.
Well, thank you for swinging by.
I don't think anybody's going to top it tonight. Sorry, everybody else. But cheers to you. Thank you, my friend, and hopefully I will see you again soon.
I look forward to it.
All right, so I'm here with Josiah, who is going to share with me 3 different expressions from 3 different distillers. The first one that I was told out when I was outside waiting is the new, well, I don't know how new it is, the Cutty Sark that might be very hard to come by.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this Cutty Sark and let's have a little taste.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Cutty Sark is our Cutty Sark Centenary. It is a special blend that we put together for our 100-year anniversary. So Cutty Sark was created in 1923. In 2023, we created this blend to celebrate that. It is thematically appropriate at 23 years old.
Nice.
However, a significant portion of the malts that are in it are a vatting of malts that have been aging in port pipes since the 1970s.
What?
Yeah, heavy port and sherry influence with a significant age on the malt portion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
All right.
it's pretty
Well,
stellar.
I can't wait to taste that.
Yeah, all right.
Let's try that while we start
got it.
talking about the next one. So we also have a Glenfarclas 25 and a Glenmoray 21 that we're going to talk about. Oh, look at that bottle. You have to show that bottle to the camera. Look at that. That's gorgeous. It's right up there. Yeah, look at that. Ooh, that's beautiful. All right, so here we go. Can take a sniff. Oh, wow.
All right, which one was the next one?
Either one, whichever one you want to do. Oh, wow. That's got a beautiful nose.
Yeah.
And is there sherry cask in this?
There's a decent amount of sherry influence as well.
Okay, so go ahead and start telling me about the Glenmoray.
Yeah. So Glenmoray, spelt M-O-R-A-Y, but oftentimes said as Murray.
Wait, sorry, hold on. That is the best Cutty Sark I've ever tasted in my life.
It is stellar. Yeah.
Like,
I'm a huge fan of
I
all of their
this was a
iterations.
blend, let alone, oh my God.
Yeah.
You guys, if you get your hands on this 23-year-old Cutty Sark, not kidding. All right, now on to the Glenmoray.
So, Glenmoray 21 is it's a 21. 2 years in tawny port casks, and the rest of the time in ex-bourbon.
Okay.
Glenmoray is known for a lot of their cask experimentation. On the table today, I have a portwood finish, full Rioja cask maturation, and a peated Rioja cask maturation.
Oh, wow.
So really interesting stuff. This is a super classic, 46.3% non-chill filtered, very intentional proofing, just awesome bottling.
Wow, okay. And how long is this part? It's not part of the core, is it?
It is, yeah. It's
how
one
long
of
has it
the.
been part of the core?
I don't know a specific timeline for that.
Ooh, that's nice and light on the nose. That's lovely. It's very light. It's very smooth.
Yeah.
It's a little oily. It's very nice.
I like that you say oily because Glenmoray is known for their very dense character. They have short fat stills, which create a heavy malt that allows for it to stand up to that wood experimentation. A lot of those different flavors, it tends to balance against them nicely.
This is lovely. I haven't had the 21 before. It's beautiful. And for those who don't know, where is Glenmoray?
Glenmoray is being produced in Elgin in Speyside.
Elgin Speyside, okay. I knew it was a Speyside, and lately I've been into Portwood Speyside finishes.
Yeah.
So now I don't know if I want to try. What's the Glenfarclas? What is that finished in?
So Glenfarclas is a heavy Oloroso influence. That's kind of one of their MOs, is a lot of Oloroso.
So I've had so many new favorites tonight. I can't tell.
Yeah.
But everything is over 20. Everything I've fallen in
At
love
least
with
we're
is
finding a
over 20.
pattern.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with the Glenfarclas. That's also
Okay.
another one of my favorites.
You got it.
Everything from the Speyside Highlands area.
Yeah.
That's my jam.
Yeah.
And we did talk to the people here last year from Glenfarclas. Had a good time.
Yeah, Deborah was here, yeah.
Deborah was here. We
Yeah.
had her on the show.
I'm not as much fun.
I don't know. You're pretty fun. She also, I think I tasted a 50 or.
They had some pretty stellar bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I shared that with you all, but I did. I tried a 50.
I'll get that board for you.
The rest of these poor folks didn't get to try it. But yeah, so and sherry finishes were my first love, and now port cask finishes are my new love. So there we go. Ah, yes, the familiar smell of Glenfarclas.
Yeah, Glenfarclas is they do such a great job of being so incredibly consistent. They've been producing for such a long time. Their distillery predates the Excise Act.
Yeah.
I mean, don't tell anyone, but you know. They also have quite an oily character, like known as one of those like very rich malts, which is why once again it stands up to Oloroso. It's strong Oloroso influence. 43% there for that 25-year-old.
It's delicious, absolutely delicious. So out of the three that we just tasted, which is your favorite?
Oh, I love them all very, very much, but it's Cutty Sark. Yeah, Cutty Sark is and has always been one of my favorite whiskeys, from the green blended bottle to the incredible blends that they're putting together now. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, look at this packaging, folks. He's got this beautiful, I don't know, kind of like boot thingy that's for...
Yeah, so this is actually the same kind of canvas that goes into making sails.
I was going to say,
yeah.
I mean, obviously it should be.
Yeah, it's named after a boat, so we lean really heavily into the boat theme.
That's great. So can you show, did we already show it?
The bottom? I'll get it a little closer, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you so much for sharing these.
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
Fantastic whiskeys. And for those of you who can get out and spend a little money, well, actually, what is the suggested retail for these three?
Varies pretty heavily. I would say you're probably going to see this on a shelf for about $1,200. And then the 21 for the Glenmurray is going to probably be $250, $300. Okay. And the 25, probably pretty close to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks. Those are the prices-ish. And I loved all three of them. So if you think I have a good palate, then try them all.
Yeah.
Thanks. Cheers.
That does it for today's show. To read notes on this episode or learn more about our guests, please visit barrelroomchronicles.com. Want to interact with the show or have questions for our guests? Then ask them on our socials or send us an email. Or better yet, leave us a voicemail on our website. If you like what you heard, please rate and subscribe to the podcast. If you really liked it and you want to show your support, buy us a whiskey through our Ko-fi site at ko-fi.com/BRC or become an exclusive member of the Barrel Room Parlor. If you work in the whiskey or spirits industry or just have a deep passion for whiskey and want to share your spirits journey, register to be a guest through our website. Last but not least, please enjoy your spirits responsibly. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, Solanjava.
Barrel Room Chronicles is a production of First Reel Entertainment and is available on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon, YouTube, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.